Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Great America Show. It's great to have you with us on this beautiful day in America. Thank you so much for spending part of your day or whatever time you're joining us, night with us, evening. We always appreciate it. D.C. is still under federal control, and I think things are getting a little bit better. Last number was just about 500 arrests since the takeover by President Trump and Pam Bondi, taking control from the inept Marxist radical leftists who run that city that's just absolutely become a hellhole, whether it be the carjackings, the homicides, the robberies, the burglary, whatever you want to go down the list and check off. They lead the nation second to New Mexico by almost double in every single category. So they're still under federal control for the time being. Yesterday, J.D. Vance and Pete Hegseth, along with Stephen Miller, visited the National Guard at D.C.'s Union Station to speak to reporters about the success of this crackdown and breakdown on crime. Stephen Miller was not easy to the Marxist Dems, throwing the kitchen sink at them. Take a listen.
Thank you. And first of all, thank you to the Vice President for bringing us here today. Thank you, Secretary, for your leadership. And most importantly, thank you to the men and women of the National Guard. I think here's the most important point. There are residents who lived in Washington, D.C. their entire lives. Their parents lived here. Their grandparents lived here, and they have lived for generations in intolerable conditions of crime and decay. There are parts of the city, I moved to the city 20 years ago. There are places where I've seen graffiti that has been untouched for 2 decades. There are homeless encampments that have made it impossible for families to use public parks and public recreation for as long as I've lived here. There are hundreds of residents of this city who are shot in street violence every single year, making it one of the most violent cities on planet Earth. And for too long, 99% of this city has been terrorized by 1% of the city. And the voices that you hear out there, those crazy communists, they have no roots. They have no connections to the city. They have no families they are raising in this city. They have no one that they are sending to school in this city. They have no jobs in this city. They have no connections to this community at all. But they're the ones who've been advocating for the 1%, the criminals, the killers, the rapists, the drug dealers. And I'm glad they're here today. Because me, Pete, and the Vice President are all going to leave here, and inspired by them, we're going to add thousands more resources to this city to get the criminals and the gang members out of here. We're going to dismantle those networks, and we're going to prove that a city can serve for the law-abiding citizens who live there. We are not going to let the communists destroy a great American city, let alone the nation's capital. And let's just also address one other thing. All these demonstrators that you've seen out here in recent days, all of these elderly white hippies, they're not part of the city and never have been. And by the way, most of the citizens who live in Washington, D.C. are black. This is not a city that has had any safety for its black citizens for generations. And President Trump is the one who is fixing that with the support of the Metropolitan Police Department, the support of the National Guard, and our federal law enforcement officers. So we're going to ignore these stupid white hippies that all need to go home and take a nap because they're all over 90 years old, and we're going to get back to the business of protecting the American people and the citizens of Washington, D.C.
Thank you, Stephen. A few questions.
Stephen Miller doing a hell of a job, second to none there with Vice President J.D. Vance. But I think it goes to show you just how serious they are about making D.C. great again. And they really have no reason to at the end of the day, because Donald Trump maybe got 10 votes in all of Washington, D.C. Now, I'm being facetious, but if you break it down, he really got no votes in Washington, D.C. So why is it incumbent upon him to save a city that doesn't want his help? And I think the answer is very simple. It's because he's the president for the United States of America. The Democrats don't see it that way. They see him as this, one-sided president. But Donald Trump is a president for all Americans. And the Democrats don't want to see it that way because of their Marxist ideology. And they're paying the price for it. A new New York Times survey out shows the Democrats have lost millions of votes from 2020 to 2024, from the most deep blue states to red states to all across the country. That's not by accident. That's by creation of what the Democrats are putting out, their policies. Americans are tired of it. It's the reason why Donald Trump had such a resounding victory this last election. The term too big to rig is, I think, extremely accurate in the sense that Americans were tired of what the Democrats did to this country for the last 4 years. For the first time in 4 years, we're seeing a border that's been shut down from rapists, from criminals, from child sex traffickers, from human smugglers, to fentanyl, to everything. We haven't seen that in 4 years. This is the first time in 4 years we're seeing a crackdown in crime in deep blue cities. We saw just last month, 2 months ago, in California, when these radical Democrats thought they were going to tear down that city and light it on fire and burn cars down. Donald Trump said, hell no. Sent in the National Guard, and the thing was cleaned up in just a matter of days. We're seeing household incomes rise again. We're seeing inflation come down. We're seeing Americans taking on more money. Once the big, beautiful bill starts to get into effect, corporations, middle of America, are going to bring in more money. We're seeing jobs coming back to America like we've never seen before. Apple pumping billions of dollars into America. American companies pulling jobs from overseas, bringing them back to America. First time we're seeing in 4 years. That's what the American people are hungry for. That's why Donald Trump had such a resounding victory in November. And I think we're going to see this continue. Now, to me, it's scary because this is what we've got done in just over 6 months. So he's got 3.5 years about left. So I don't know what's on the agenda. I guess we're going to have to see when the House gets back in September. But there's a lot, I think, to go under. And the Democrats are in big, big trouble. So after Stephen Miller was at Union Station, he went on Fox News and had this to say to the Democrats who are harboring illegals trying to destroy this country.
The Democrat Party is an extremist organization, Sean. It's not a political party in any normal sense of the word. A political party represents Americans. It represents law-abiding citizens. All you see all day long are crazy Democrats screeching on TV on behalf of foreign terrorists, hardened criminals, and violent illegal aliens. A political party exclusively dedicated to protecting terrorists, criminals, gangbangers, and murderers. That's what they become. These sanctuary city mayors, DOJ's been very clear. They had a deadline and they violated it. They had a deadline.
The Democrat Party is dead. And we're going to talk about the numbers. We're going to be joined by my good pal, a great American and a great host of a show, the Stephen Gardner Show. My friend Stephen Gardner is going to be joining us in just a few moments to take all of this up and much, much more. But the Democrats are literally ruining their chances of ever winning an election. And now I'm not mad about it. I'm all for it. Let them continue to self-destruct and, burn their own homes down. That's what they want to do. Have fun. But American corporations are finally, I think, waking up to it now. Bed Bath & Beyond is a company that I think all of us Americans used to shop at. We went to college, we'd go there and pick up some stuff for school. If your parents, you send your kids to college, you go to Bed Bath & Beyond. Well, Marcus Lemonis, a very successful businessman, is now the executive chairman for Bed Bath & Beyond. And he put out this statement, and I want to read it to you guys because I think it's interesting. And I think we're going to see a lot more of this against big blue states and cities. Quote, "We will not open or operate retail stores in California. This isn't a decision about politics. It's about reality. California has created one of its most overregulated, expensive, and risky environments for business in America. It's a system that makes it hard for employees and hard to employ people and even harder to keep the doors open and harder to deliver to value to customers. The result, higher taxes, higher fees, higher wages that many businesses simply cannot sustain and endless regulations that strangle growth. Even when the state announces a budget surplus, it's built on the backs of ordinary citizens who are paying way too much in taxes and businesses who are squeezed until they break. At Bed Bath & Beyond, our responsibility to our customers and our shareholders. We will not participate in a system that undermines both. Instead, we are investing in California's strategy that works. 24 to 48-hour delivery, and in many cases, same-day service. Californians will continue to get products they love through bedbathandbeyond.com, but without the inflated costs created by an unsustainable model." Now, think about that. How many stores they could have possibly opened as they try to reinvigorate themselves across California. But they can't because of people like Gavin Newsom, because of people like Mayor Karen Bass. I hope the people of California, the great people of California, think about that next time they go to vote and think about the jobs and growth that the Democrats are costing that beautiful, beautiful state. Folks, we're going to take a quick break here. On the other side of this break, as I said, we're going to be joined by my friend Stephen Gardner. We're going to take up so much. I couldn't appoint a judge today denying the release of more Epstein documents. I wonder why. I wonder how they went to go find themselves a Clinton judge. We're going to take up Stephen Miller. We're going to take up the D.C. Guard and how they're keeping that city safe. We're going to take up Tulsi Gabbard, Ed Martin, Russia collusion. We're going to take it all up on the other side of this quick break, folks. Please stay with us. We're coming right back.
You're still looking good.
I'm still feeling good. You know, I've got all your MyPillow products. Mattress topper, bed sheets, MyPillows, towels, slippers, blankets.
I'm interrupting this commercial to do something I've never done before. Get 2 MyPillows absolutely free on orders of $100 or more. I can't do this forever, so get on board with this great sale today. Our best-selling 6-piece bath towel sets or kitchen towel sets, just $29.98. Our famous standard MyPillows only $14.98. Queens $18.98. King size only $1 more. Body pillows $29.98. Multi-use MyPillow 2.0s with pillowcase $9.98. Save $40 on our spring percale and Giza Dream bed sheet sets. Any size, any color. So go to MyPillow.com or call that number on your screen. Use your promo code to save up to 80% on all MyPillow products. And when you spend $100 or more, get 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free.
Thanks, everybody, for staying with us. As promised, my good friend and host of the Stephen Gardner Show, man himself, Stephen Gardner. Stephen, I appreciate you taking the time. I know you're a very busy man to join us today. There's so much to talk about. Where do you want to start?
Oh, man, I just, the Democrats are throwing these baby fits about President Trump and the FBI and the DOJ and police wanting to clean up these Democrat rat nests of a city. And they're saying things like, who does he think he is, Batman? Well, yeah, because you guys are Gotham. You've got all this horrible crime. You've got graffiti. You've got drive-by shootings. You've got gangs. You've got illegal immigrants being harbored. Like, of course, President Trump has to step in. And then I see from Elon Musk, he posts today, DC crime stats out today. Robbery down 46%, carjacking down 83%, car theft 21%, violent crime 22%, property crime 6%. I mean, they've only been in there a week, and look what they're already doing. So I think what President Trump is doing in Washington, D.C., I think they are going to roll it out to other cities. I do believe that they are going to be crying. You've already got the mayor of Boston, Miss Wu, saying, oh, yeah, come and try to get rid of illegal immigrants. Come and try to shut down this sanctuary city. We'll show you what Boston is all about. So, I wish everyone luck. I don't want anyone to have any bodily harm. But, if you taunt Trump like a bull, he's going to charge you.
The problem, it's not even Trump they've got to worry about. I've had the honor and pleasure of knowing Tom Homan for quite some time. Really good dude. It's not Trump they've got to deal with at this point. He's going to let off the leash. Not that he's even on a leash. He's never been on a leash. I stand corrected. But Tom Homan, when you say something like that, you're inviting Tom Homan to come on in. And come on in is exactly what he's going to do. I just don't get where the job of mayor is really only a powerful job in big cities. New York, Boston, Los Angeles, New York City, that is. Los Angeles, Miami, Florida, everywhere else, it's a job where most of these people, it's a secondary job, smaller towns, smaller cities. I'm sure where you live, it's a smaller town mayor that, nobody really knows who they are because that's what the job comes with. But these mayors of these deep blue cities, Stephen, they think, you had mentioned Batman, they think they're Superman.
Yeah. Yeah. And it turns out they're Lex Luthor. But yeah, you're right. Tom Homan was not afraid to go into Los Angeles when they were preparing to burn it down.
No.
When you had Antifa show up and you had, all these people fighting for Mexico instead of America. You had the governor and the mayor literally telling people, break the law, get in their face, we'll support you. When they're not busy robbing the Palisade, music fund, they're just telling their people to cause havoc. And then they tried to blame everything on Donald Trump.
Yeah, they look foolish because maybe in 2016 to 2020, you could have fooled the people, but he's become such a mainstream person. He's become such a mainstream player in all of this. People are not fooled by it anymore. They're not fooled by the fact that he's a quote unquote racist. They're not bought on the fact that he's a misogynist or he's a xenophobe or whatever, they've used to describe him over the last 10 years. People don't believe it anymore. You know why? Because people have seen the crime in their cities. I go into a CVS here in New York, Stephen, to go buy deodorant. A guy's got to come unlock it for me. I walked in there the other day to actually buy deodorant. This is the only reason I know. And I said to the guy, can somebody come unlock this so I can steal some deodorant? And they weren't even amused by it because they're like, this is real world. People are actually stealing deodorants. So it's hitting the streets. It's hitting people's pockets. It's hitting children. It's families. That's why they don't believe the nonsense anymore.
Yeah. Wow. Going back to Washington, D.C., I find it interesting that 91% of Washington, D.C. voted against Donald Trump, but 91% of residents say crime is out of control. Yeah. So I'm kind of hoping that as they have this paradigm shift, as they see the world through different eyes, oh, wait a minute, we just needed a different president, and this can actually be a beautiful, flourishing, safe, family-oriented city where we can get out and enjoy the beauty of Washington, D.C., the museums, the parks.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that he'll actually pick up some voters. I mean, not that he's going to run again, although he was hinting at that and made the mainstream media light their hair on fire. 4 more years of this guy. It's like, no, it's not 4 more years, but it's still 3.5.
It was funny. I forgot who I was talking to. I was talking to somebody on the show the other day, and we were discussing Gavin Newsom, and Gavin was like, I know Trump is running again. Do you know how I know? And someone's like, no, how do you know? He sent me a hat that says Trump 2028 on it. I know he's running again. And I'm like, is this man really this ignorant?
No, he's just that fearful. And I'm sure he took that and was like, okay, I'm trying to launch my presidential run. My best shot at being president is to not be Donald Trump. But that's the Democrats' problem right now. Like, Trump is succeeding on inflation. He's succeeding on food costs, gas costs, hammering Jerome Powell to lower interest rates, which is going to save everybody a ton of money. The border, illegal immigrants, the vaccine stuff, wins. He's at an all-time high, and Democrats say, at least we're not that guy. At least we're not successful.
You know what? I'm glad they're not successful, because then things might be a little bit different. And, it takes someone with a brain to figure that one out. These people are still running their playbook. Going back to D.C., President Trump is considering launching an investigation whether their D.C. crime stats were manipulated. Now, we know how much the Democrats have manipulated over the years. Hell, they were even manipulating COVID numbers to say, more people died than they did from this disease, from the Wu flu. And we still never even got an answer on that. So why wouldn't they manipulate some DC crime numbers? That's nothing. That's it's just a little ball in the bucket for them.
I mean, California does this all the time. They set this new law. Oh, as long as you steal less than $999, you won't be prosecuted. So then they go, well, look, theft is down. Meanwhile, business owners are like, we literally can't keep our businesses open. You've got, as you mentioned earlier, Bed Bath and Beyond. They're like, we can't even reopen in California. You guys are so stupid and so difficult to do business. And you know what else? California just lost In-N-Out Burger. After like 75 years, the owners of In-N-Out Burger said, we're moving to Tennessee. It's literally impossible to successfully run a business with these Democrats in California.
And it's sad because there are a lot of good people in California, and they, they can't get themselves out of this mess. But I think what we're going to see is what we've seen over the course of the last 4 to 8 to 10 years of people migrating out of these deep blue cities and going to places like Arizona, Scottsdale, Arizona. I spent a bunch of time there over this last year. One of the most gorgeous places I've ever visited without the tax burden. You can go to Nevada. You can go to, different places throughout Nevada and not worry about the tax burden and, be just an hour or two outside of Los Angeles. So why should these people have businesses? My pal Grant Cardone fled California and went to Florida and is saving himself tens of millions of dollars, living in a beautiful house in a free state where he can carry a gun every day if someone thinks they're going to try to rob him. What incentive is there to really live in California other than the beautiful landscape?
I mean, I love California. We've got family out there. But I would never, ever, ever. There's no amount of money you could pay me to make me live out there, because at the end of the day, you can't tax your citizens into prosperity. Yeah. And that's what Donald Trump understands. He's like, listen, we've got to lower our bills. We've got to generate a new form of income, and it can't be off the backs of the American people. Why should Americans pay for foreign wars? Why should Americans pay for stupid spending? Why should Americans pay for a bloated government employment roster? So, you've got the Democrat Party literally ran on, we will raise your taxes and prove to you that the government is good. And Trump's going, are these guys stupid? Like, how many cards are missing from their deck of cards? Like, you don't run on, I'm going to raise your taxes. So what does he do? He gets the big, beautiful bill through, saves the original Trump taxes from 17, and gets people even additional savings in 2026.
Yeah, they'll never wake up. And we've got some bad news from the Democrats. A new survey out from the New York Times. Democrats lost 2.1 million registered voters between 2020 and 2024 in 30 different states, along with Washington, D.C., that allowed people to register with the political party choosing to be the Republicans. The Republicans gained 2.4 million votes. So you do that math, it's over a 4 million voter swing. The Democrats just keep imploding and imploding. And, honestly, Stephen, it's not getting any better for these people. They have brought forward no new policies, nothing to fight crime, nothing to cut costs, nothing to onshore jobs here in America, nothing to get men out of women's sports, nothing to close the border, nothing to stop the drug crisis. Should I go on?
I mean, Nancy Pelosi just did a public televised meeting where she said she's actually working on a new bill to trans children on a federal level. And that she feels so bad for the people in San Francisco that can't chop off the weenies of their little boys. Like, what a sicko. Like, if somebody really believes that, like, wait till they're an adult. You can do whatever you want as an adult. In the meantime, get your hands off our children, you weirdo.
Hey, you know what? This is what they've gotten themselves into, and they're gonna learn the hard way, because they're gonna get burnt, and they've already got burnt, and they're gonna continue to get burnt.
I hear every day about the products you all wish MyPillow carried. Well, guess what? We probably do. Slippers, bathrobes, pet beds, blankets, mattresses, sleepwear, loungewear, duvets, comforters, pot holders, aprons, oven mitts, and so much more. And they're all on sale. For example, get our best-selling standard MyPillows for only $14.98. Body pillows, $29.98. 6-piece bath towels or kitchen towel sets, just $29.98. Multi-use MyPillow 2.0s with pillowcase, $9.98. Save $40 on our Spring Percale and Giza Dream bedsheet sets. Any size, any color, and so much more. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save up to 80% on all MyPillow products. And I've never done this before. When you spend $100 or more, you're going to get 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free.
Let's turn to President Trump, Vladimir Putin, this meeting with Zelensky. It looks like the next stages of the meeting sequence will be Putin meeting with Zelensky, followed by a meeting with Putin, Zelensky, and Trump, and trying to bring something together. Through this all, President Trump has officially been extended an invitation by Vladimir Putin to go visit Moscow. I say he should go do it just to drive the Democrats absolutely berserk.
You know, as long as Secret Service can keep him safe, and I believe Vladimir Putin would do everything he could to keep an American president safe. Why not? Why not go over there? We're trying to. Trump is using economics to bring peace to the world. He's not using the U.S. military. He's not, trying to strong arm people. He's literally trying to end a war. I mean, someone said to him the other day, I think this thing will probably come to an end in a couple of months. He said, are you crazy? Another 40,000 people will die. This needs to end right now. So I think he should go to Moscow. I think we should try to heal that wound, find common ground. Hey, you guys helped us beat Hitler. We helped you beat Hitler. Maybe we can move forward and let the past be the past. They're no longer the USSR. Let's move forward and stop the killing, and let's rebuild the world based on prosperity.
And President Trump, I think, saying yesterday that Russia and Ukraine war would be the last war he has to handle as president of the United States. And, I think it sets him up nicely for a Nobel Peace Prize. He also said that under Biden, Putin had no communications with the White House for 4 years as people died. I mean, why wouldn't Joe Biden try to save this thing and salvage it instead of continuing to send billions of dollars over to Ukraine? We didn't know where that money went. People died. You heard the notion that Ukraine was winning the war. They were never winning the war. There was never any point in the war where they were winning, and there was never any point where they could win. And that's not me being pro-Russia or pro-Putin. It's just me analyzing and speaking with former generals that it's just not possible.
Yeah. I mean, Russia is significantly bigger. Their war machine is pumping out weapons 24 hours a day.
They're backed by China. I mean, you go down the list.
Yeah. I mean, that war just, it has to come to an end. And NATO and the European Union and Zelensky, they seem to want this thing to keep going. The only thing I can understand is maybe pride or money laundering or both. I mean, obviously, Biden was trying to cover up his family crimes there in Ukraine. But yeah, nobody knew where the money was going. And yet you have Nancy Pelosi and others saying American democracy depends on Ukrainian democracy. No, it doesn't. Don't lie to us. We have nothing to do with this. You guys are just, you don't care that people are dying as long as it's not American men and women in our armed services. And then you're going to tell me about democracy? They canceled their elections. That's why Trump was joking. Hey, I just figured out a way to stay in office. I'll just cancel elections like Zelensky. He literally roasted him right to his face in the Oval Office.
That was so funny. And I was surprised that didn't get picked up by more people. I didn't even see that. One of my buddies had sent me a video on it. I said, this can't be real.
And then he took Zelensky in his back room where he has like 40 hats. And there's a photo of him showing Zelensky the 4 more years hat. Of course, boom. Gavin Newsom loses his mind.
Yeah, but the media didn't cover it as much as they did. By the way, that's that room where President Trump keeps the memorabilia. I've been in that room. That is what's known as the Monica Lewinsky room, in case anyone was wondering. And I'll leave it at that. But no, Donald Trump is not running again for 4 more years, nor do I think he could deal with the headache of it all. I mean, I don't know anyone personally or anyone in their right mind who would want to be president of the United States at this point. I mean, they literally tried to have you killed if you go against what they believe in.
Yeah. Although, did you see that Elon Musk came out and said he's basically back on the MAGA team and he's going to throw money behind JD Vance?
Yeah, they said he's looking at it in 20. He also gave, I think, Trump in June like $15 million. So
yeah, he just secretly wrote a check for $15 million. I think he wants back in the family. I say, God bless him. Yeah. Let him back in. Let's move forward. He was a great asset for freedom of speech, for getting Trump in. Yeah, they got their differences, but that's what happens when you have 2 billionaire alpha males in a room. One of them's going to figure out who's more powerful.
He learned the hard way, Elon Musk. He should have went back and watched Donald Trump beat the rear ends of 16 different candidates in 2016, career politicians, but with some of the biggest name in politics like Bush and Clinton. So maybe he should have learned that way. But yeah, I mean, I'm all for that. He definitely owes Donald Trump a public apology and needs to retract all those awful things he says, because he knows they're not true and we know they're not true. And then I think the conversation can be had to bring him back in. Speaking of that, some of those comments he had made were about President Trump and Epstein. A federal judge this week, Stephen, you ready for this? U.S. District Judge Richard Berman, a Clinton appointee. We've heard the name before. He's been all in on the January 6th stuff and all that fun stuff. Called the DOJ's efforts to unseal grand jury transcripts a diversion. Now, these, of course, have to do with Epstein. Now, I'm not sure if the Clinton appointee has anything to do with it, but this is in a 14-page opinion. Quote, a significant and compelling reason to reject the government's position in this litigation is that the government has already undertaken a comprehensive investigation into the Epstein case and, not surprisingly, has assembled a trove of Epstein documents, interviews, and exhibits, and the government committed that it would share the Epstein investigation materials with the public. The information contained in the Epstein grand jury transcript pales in comparison to the Epstein investigation information and materials in the hands of the Department of Justice. So he's accusing them of a diversion, but exactly what he wrote in his 14-page opinion is a diversion. I'm not going to release this because they have stuff over there that they haven't released. I'm sorry, that's not what being a judge is, and that's not how a judicial system works, Stephen.
Yeah, this is a coordinated racket. The Democrats say Trump isn't doing enough, and then a Democrat-appointed judge, 3 of them now, block the Epstein files, transcripts, grand jury testimony, boxes and boxes of information from the American people. And the Democrats say, yeah, see, Trump doesn't want to release them. They're not Trump-appointed judges. So the whole thing is just a giant scam.
They think we're stupid, too. And I hate talking about the Epstein stuff because people are so tired of hearing about it. I want the files out. I think every single thing should be released with the exception of any pornographic images of children or any of the children's names. With the exception of that, every single document should be released. I don't think for a second Donald Trump is implicated in any sort of disgusting behavior because we would have found out about it already. I mean, they've tried to have this man killed twice. They've tried to impeach him. I mean, he was impeached, but really impeach him twice. They've tried to do everything to ruin his life and his family's life. You don't think for a second if Donald Trump was any way implicated in pedophilia in the Epstein documents, we wouldn't have found out about it the second they figured it out?
Yeah, lawyer David Schoen said there was nothing. Alan Dershowitz said there was nothing. Bill Barr just testified under oath in front of Congress. No connection to these crimes. I mean, I don't know how many times we have to say it, but again, because something doesn't come out, the Democrats say, you see, he doesn't want to release it.
He's lying to you. He's lying to you. We got to turn to someone who's doing just an absolutely admirable job in this Trump administration. That's Tulsi Gabbard. I mean, she's doing such a job right now that I don't think he could have picked anyone better to do the job. Tulsi Gabbard saying this week that she's reducing the Office of Director of National Intelligence staff by more than 40%. The spy agency is expected to go from more than 1,800 employees to approximately 1,200. Firings at the largest spy agency, latest shakeup to the old guard and the deep state after Tulsi revoked, I think it was just about 40 security clearances this week to deep staters. Talking to Roger Stone yesterday, he says a lot of these people on this list are people who are involved in possible grand jury indictments that may soon come.
Oh, I think they're coming. I am very optimistic that there is a lot going on. Look at everything Ed Martin is uncovering, what he's doing, the stuff that Tulsi Gabbard is sharing and what she's doing. They just brought on the Attorney General of Missouri to be the co-director with Dan Bongino. Now, why on earth would the second in command at the FBI need to be somebody who has no policing history in it? All this guy knows how to do is bring court cases. Andrew Bailey.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's so many pieces being put into place. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, Andrew Bailey is a terrific guy. I've had him on the show many times. I think I'll have to get him back one more time before he leaves and doesn't do any more interviews. Terrific, terrific fellow. And I think he's going to do a great job there because he is a great American. And this organization needs to be held to account. Pam Bondi has got to keep her head down, stay off of Fox News, and get to work. Kash Patel has got to keep his promises that he's told us over the past few years, that he's going to get justice for January 6ers, justice for the deep state Russia collusion for hoaxers. If we don't get any of that, the Republicans can kiss all of their chances goodbye. I don't care if they flip another 6 million seats across the country. If they do not get justice for these people who were done so wrong by a crooked Department of Justice and FBI, they can, like I said, switch 6 million votes from the Democrats to Republicans. They can kiss 2026 and 2028 goodbye.
Yeah, it's like I used to tell people when I did financial planning. It doesn't matter what you make, it matters what you keep.
Yeah.
So you can make all of these promises, Republicans, but if you don't keep them, your voters, they may not abandon you, but they might not show up to vote. And that's what Democrats are counting on at this point. They're going, wait a minute, we're down. We're in a one down position. All we have to do is point out and make people frustrated so they won't come out to vote, and we'll win, not because we have more people, but because we had more people show up.
Yeah. How do you perceive that this all plays out? I mean, do you think we get indictments at the highest level? Do you think we get indictments at low-level staffers? My opinion is you squeeze everybody until I told Roger yesterday, you squeeze everybody until the juice comes out, and that's what you've got to do. This is what they've done to the Republicans and the Trump family for 10 years. It's time that they flip the switch and actually go after people who are criminals.
Yeah, one reason I'm optimistic is, Congress doesn't do a lot for us as Republicans. They have great policy, but terrible follow through.
For sure.
But this is on a level where it's Trump, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel. I think that we are going to see arrests. I think that we are going to see some big names, even possibly big names that they know they can't get, but they're going to force them to testify. I mean, for heaven's sakes, they're pulling in George Soros, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton. A lot's not happening right now because they're on break. Yeah. But when they come back, I bet you the first person that they do a full court press on is Adam Schiff, and God bless him, because he's going to need that blessing.
Did you see he started a GoFundMe today or 2 days?
For his legal bills.
Yeah, imagine that. It must suck to be Adam Schiff right now, to know that everything he's perpetrated on people for the last 10 years is now finally coming full circle, except there's one problem. Adam Schiff committed crimes. Adam Schiff apparently committed mortgage fraud, which seems to be a common thing now. I wasn't aware of how common it was. Adam Schiff also doing what he accused Donald Trump of doing and leaking classified information, except Donald Trump was allowed to have the classified documents because he was president of the United States. Adam Schiff was not allowed to have it or leak it, but continued to do so anyway. So I think there's big problems ahead for Mr. Adam Schiff.
Yeah. Well, I was reading that mortgage fraud has one of the highest conviction rates. So maybe they can't unwind the auto pen. Maybe they won't get him on the Russiagate stuff, but maybe they do get him on the mortgage fraud, which, guess what, actually has a higher jail time than anything else. So to me, it's like, O.J. Simpson, the dude gets away with murder. And then how do they get him? This guy in Las Vegas sets up this trap where he's like, hey, I've got your stolen memorabilia. They show up with guns. Now they're going to jail for robbery, kidnapping. I mean, so they may get Adam Schiff through the back door, but as long as they get him.
Yeah, and like I said, it's for actual crimes committed. Donald Trump was accused of this, and this. Wasn't found guilty on anything except defaming E. Jean Carroll for allegedly what they said he raped her 40 years ago or 50 years ago in the Bergdorf Goodman parking lot or fleeting room or whatever the heck she said. Or they got him on paying back his mortgage on time with interest. Banks said that they would do the deal with him any day of the week, whenever he wanted to. That's what they got Donald Trump on. They didn't get him on classified documents. They didn't get him on January 6th or whatever. I mean, the whole thing was just a huge hoax. In my opinion, someone they've got to go after right now, I say go after Robert Mueller, even though he's not apparently all there in the head, and we knew that back when he testified before Congress. but someone's got to go after Jack Smith. This man was running rogue like a junkyard jackal, like who the heck he was for 3 years, bullying Donald Trump and his family members and anyone who was surrounding themselves with him. I think this man needs to be investigated as well.
Yeah, I believe they did open an investigation. So they're going to just all this stuff takes time. I mean, I remember when I covered the Bob Goldbars Menendez from New Jersey, and then everybody was like, "This guy got away with it." Now he's sitting in jail right now. Like, it just took time to get through the justice system, but that loser is sitting in jail for taking gold bars in order to kick favors over to the person that gave him the gold bars. So I do believe that justice is coming, but like Martin Luther King said, sometimes the wheels of justice turn slowly.
I don't know if you remember when Bob got arrested, he was begging Trump for a pardon, number one. But number two, he said, now I know what Donald Trump was talking about when he said that there's people after you and there's a deep state and they will get you. Oh, well, there's one problem, Bobby. Donald Trump didn't have millions of dollars in gold bars and cash stored in his jacket pockets, in his house. That's the difference between the two, Bobby. Stephen, as always, it's a delight to talk to you. I'm going to give you the opportunity. You get the last word here. The floor is yours.
Yeah, I just want to say I think some big things are coming. They've got Ed Martin. This guy, he's out visiting Letitia James' properties. He's telling Adam Schiff's lawyer earlier, I think yesterday, he said, you know what? You guys know that you're guilty, and we're coming after you. They're trying to unwind the January 6th fake pardons. There's new information coming out that even Biden's DOJ was telling him these pardons, they've got all kinds of problems, and you shouldn't be signing them with an auto pen. So I think it's just going to take time. When we get back from break in September, I think we're going to start seeing the subpoenas, the meetings, and I think we're going to see some justice.
I hope so. Your mouth to God's ears. And folks, you can catch Stephen's show each and every day, multiple times a day on his YouTube channel at Stephen Gardner 1, or you can catch him over on Rumble, wherever you guys get your YouTube, wherever you get your video podcast, you can find Stephen there. Stephen, my friend, come back soon.
Thank you.
Thanks to Stephen Gardner, folks, and thank you all for being with us today here on The Great America Show. We hope to see you back here tomorrow for The Great America Show, where our quest for truth, justice, and the American way continues. We'll see you back here tomorrow, same time, same place. Until then, may God bless you, may God bless America, and may God bless the great Lou Dobbs. Have a great night, everybody.